Hi, I'm Pete Boyd and I'm here to talk to you about this book which I wrote with my colleagues Barry Hymer and Karen Lockney. It's called Learning Teaching, Becoming an Inspirational Teacher. And in fact we've made one chapter of the book open access for you to have a look at. We obviously hope you'll enjoy that chapter and buy the book. Okay, so the chapter we've chosen, our core chapters in this book, they're all given a dilemma, a teacher dilemma. One of the things that you'll have to deal with in your everyday work. And the chapter we've chosen to make open access is called Abstract versus Concrete. I chose this because it's based around a famous geography lesson. I used to teach geography in high school, and this lesson, we've adapted it slightly. So each chapter has a lesson at the heart of it, and the story of that lesson is told on behalf of a student teacher or beginning teacher. So David is the teacher who teaches this famous lesson. Basically, the Vikings in England had to choose where to put their village, and they had to look at a map and make some decisions. Of course, the woodcutter would rather be next to the forest, whereas the water carrier might be next to the river. And so you end up with a bit of a debate about where to put the village. Anyway, there's the gist of the lesson. But the point is that some teachers, okay, they get in the classroom, and what they do, they deliver the curriculum. We call them curriculum deliverers. They're basically ploughing through content. They think it's all about knowledge, and teaching becomes telling. This is a dreary, boring teacher, okay? So let's have a look at a different teacher. A much more exciting teacher. This one is called a task manager. These names, by the way, are taken from work by Sam Twistleton. The task manager has a nice, busy classroom. Lots of activities, fairly quick. Children get sense of success. The students, they complete the task. It keeps the students busy. And I admit, when I was teaching in tough comprehensive schools in Bradford, in the north of England, I did use that kind of task management in order to keep my behaviour management going, you know, because the children were busy, they didn't have time to muck about. But there's a problem with that. There's a third kind of teacher, and it's the kind of teacher that we're encouraging you to become in this chapter and in this book, which is a concept builder. By that we mean that the teacher's very aware of the big idea underpinning the lesson. They're really clear on what the key concept is. And so when they teach the lesson, maybe halfway through, they've prepared a hinge question, a really good question that cuts across the content and the sort of factual knowledge and gets to the big idea underpinning the lesson. In this case, what David doesn't do is realise this lesson, for example, is actually a geographical idea about location. Now, you can look at that in different ways. Location could be a mathematical thing, least cost location. In other words, how far do we have to transport 6 tons of wood every week, 3 tons of water, and so on. And so it can become mathematical. It can become political. Who decides where we're going to put the village? So that's a kind of social or political community kind of question. But in geography, the big idea of location is the landscape. How can we look at a map and look at the landscape and understand it? And it's the decisions that people have made that help to create the human and physical landscape and shape the physical landscape. So because David didn't understand the key idea underpinning his lesson, the lesson wasn't as effective, as engaging, as inspirational as it could be. So have a look at the chapter. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get the idea of this book, which is based, by the way, on the idea that all of your children can succeed and learn. If they practice at the edge of their current ability, they will get smarter. And that's one of the underpinning ideas underpinning the book.